I want everybody to be happier than I am. I want everybody to be more loving and kind than I am. I want everybody to be more courageous and more confident than I am. I want to help people be a better person than I am so they can enjoy a better life and they can do more good in the world.
Welcome to Strategy in Action, where we reveal how industry leaders build real market gravity, the force that naturally attracts opportunities, partnerships, and profits. You get raw insights, proven frameworks, and strategies that actually move the needle in your business. Let's get started. Paul Hoyt is on the show today. I have the great honor of calling Paul a friend, and I'm so impressed with his latest endeavor, the Good Power Project. So he's got this incredible human side of him and bringing out the best in people. And that's been his passion for quite a while. First, figuring out, hey, how do I become a better person and really being purposeful with that endeavor? And then finding ways to spread what he learned and bring out the good in others and empower them to bring it out in themselves. And that's really what the Good Power Project is all about, to build this community of amazing people working together. And my goodness, what we all need is just doing some more good in the world. We dig into the details of the project and what got him here, that evolution of it. And I really think you'll love it. All right, let's jump in. Paul Hoyt, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Jason, it's a pleasure to have a conversation with you today. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm so glad. I know we've tried an episode of this show way back in the past, and it's a little bit of a take two for us, but it's also take 57 of us having great conversations over video. So this is gonna be a blast. I figured it was about time we hit record on one of these.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Let's get into it.
So before we get rolling on really this core concept that I'm excited to talk about with you, this new project you have going on, give us some geography about, being an author and business coach and all of this thing in your world of how you've been helping people so far.
I get a chance to go to business networking events periodically, and I oftentimes introduce myself by saying that I'm a pretty old geezer with 60 years of business experience and 60 years of trying to get my shit together. And I've learned a lot about business, and I've learned a lot about life, and I love helping people, define and achieve their dreams in whatever way I can. First 30 years of my career were spent in information systems. So I'm a real left brain, organized, numbers-oriented project planner, framework guy that I really just love organizing and developing project plans and making things happen. And the last 25 years, I've been a business coach and business consultant, helping business owners create and implement strategic growth plans, create financial projections, get funding, be a fractional CFO, and doing all kinds of things to help people start and grow really great businesses. But I'm ready for my Act 3 now, which is as a personal coach and an inspirational speaker. As I mentioned, I've been trying to get my shit together for 60 years, and it really is starting to pay off. That's kind of a misnomer, because it really started to pay off immediately. Because if it hadn't started to pay off immediately, I would have never stuck to it. But every little improvement, every little reduction of tension and stress, every little increase of health and happiness, every little boost in performance inspired me, motivated me, to continue on that journey of being the very best person that I can possibly be. And I think for the last 20 years, I've been working on trying to find ways to help other people on their journey of inner work, on their journey of life, to become the best person that they could be as well. And that's one of the things I'm really excited to talk to you about today.
Absolutely. It certainly leads us into this Good Power Project that I'm excited to talk about today. but also just to kind of point out to folks, I know tongue in cheek, hey, I've been 60 years trying to get my shit together. And my first thought is, yeah, aren't we all, like constantly trying to do that? But the real and serious comment of that though too is that we are all trying to quote unquote, do that. But it's one of those things that we also need to let in that it is never done and it's not supposed to be either. And so that's what, this project you have coming up and any kind of personal development work, that's why it's so critical because just like you mentioned, you got some of those results in the very beginning. Hey, there's something to this. Let me keep going. And you've kept that going and it's a constant improvement. And I think I just want to call that out because that's so important.
It is important, and here in our Western society, I don't think that we have, we've really grabbed a hold of that the way that I would like for us to grab a hold of that. I remember in high school hearing about this strange concept of lifelong learning, which really didn't exist too much back in the late 1960s or so. It was like, well, we go to high school and we get a job, or we go to high school and we go to college and then we get a job. But there was no sense of awareness, at least in the culture that I was raised in, of this lifelong learning, of we continue to grow in capabilities, we continue to grow in wisdom, we continue to grow in love and light, for the rest of our entire lives. And sometimes it seems like I'm filling up a swimming pool with an eyedropper, just making a little tiny bit of progress every single day. And then every once in a while, it feels like there's been a few buckets poured into there and I level up in some way. And I've been blessed to, have a lot of those leveling up experiences. But I think that it's really been the little drops of water, the little adding to this incredible pool of love and light, one drop at a time, one prayer, one meditation, one act of kindness, one insight at a time that continually, day by day raises that average vibration to where, here in my golden years, I enjoy life in a very wonderful, wonderful way.
I love that. So let's talk this good power project. That's a perfect intro into this and some of that motivation of why. But specifically, what is this project? And you've touched on the why a little bit. We can lead into that of like something needs to change.
Let's dig into the why for a little bit, because I've oftentimes asked myself that, why don't I just stay doing business coaching and consulting and being a fractional CFO? And why don't I just stay with the numbers? Why do I have this passion for helping other people, on their journey? And I've figured out for myself that there's really three reasons. One reason is out of kindness. I know what it's like to be upset. I know what it's like to be tense and anxious and worried and have doubts and concerns and be dealing with grief and tragedy. And I feel for other people. I'm a very empathetic, I guess, maybe kind of a sensitive guy. So it's out of kindness. It's out of wanting other people to have the same progress that I have made, to wanting them to experience life in the way that I experience life, that I try to share anything and everything I can to help people on their journey. That's reason number one, is out of kindness. Reason number two is pure selfishness, because every time I bring a smile to somebody's face, every time I give them a hand up out of a pit of darkness or some shadow that they're going through, it makes me feel better. It is a blessing to be a blessing. It is a blessing to be a blessing, is one of those great aspects of life as I experience it, that causes me, motivates me, inspires me to help others in any way that I can. And the third reason is really kind of a sense of combination of an obligation and an opportunity. I'm deeply, deeply inspired by the John Wesley quote that goes something like this: "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, at all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, for as long as you ever can. And that last part, that for as long as you ever can, is really something that I embrace. Here in these tender years, I look around and I realize that I've got maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe I'll be blessed to have another 30 years out there. But I have this incredible opportunity and this sense of obligation to do anything and everything I can to make this world a better place for my kids, for my grandkids, for your kids and your grandkids, and for every child that there is out there. I've got this knowledge, I've got this wisdom, I've got this love and the light, and it just seems like the right thing to do to share that in every way that I possibly can.
I think those are amazing reasons because it is unusual, right? For the left brain business coach, fractional CFO to go down this path. And I love that. I love that about you and your approach and everything because you have both of those lanes and when they're all going like this together, I think that's great. So what is this though? What is this good power project and this, phase 3 now? How is that taking shape?
You know, um, I've been working on finding ways to share the love and light that I have with other people for probably the last 20 years or so. So I've written several books. I had this epiphany in 2004 and wrote a 45-minute spoken word guided meditation called Remember, and books about the practice of awakening and encouraging people to discover, remember, embrace, and become the angel within. And I've written, my last book was Surprises on the Road to Enlightenment, published in 2023. Just doing my best to share wisdom and insights and guidance with other people to help them on their journey. Had a couple of programs. I created a program called Mind Sequencing, which teaches people to think the thoughts they want to think so they can feel the way they want to feel and be the person they want to be. A few years ago, I've had the Focused Mind community for the last couple of years that you've been a part of, been an instrumental part in the founding of that community as well. So this is my latest attempt to help people where they are. And when I really thought about that, I thought, well, where did I start? We're 60 years ago when I started on my journey at the tender age of 14. Where did I start? And it was with a quest for power. It was with a quest of feeling safer and stronger and more confident. That's why I was doing my inner work. How can I step into greater confidence? How can I be a stronger person? How can I have less of a temper? How can I feel a little more peaceful and calm? And that's where wanted to start back then. So that's the way I think that a lot of people would want to start, and if they've been on the journey for a while, a really, really good foundation is to become a stronger person. So I created the Good Power Project, which is passionate and determined to help good people become stronger, more confident, and more capable people so that they can do more good in the world. I think good people need to come together and to affirm to each other and especially to ourselves that we're doing everything that we can to be the best person that we can be, to be a good citizen in our society, to help other people on their journey, to be fair, to be kind, to be courageous, to be confident. I want to be the best person I can be. And if you're one of those people, then I want to help you be a stronger person. I want to help you, increase your physical vitality, your mental vitality. I want to help you increase your capability to add value to other people. And mostly, I want you to improve your mindset. I want you to be able to shift your state of being by changing the focus of your attention anytime and anywhere so that the good people can come together and help each other become stronger people so that we can be a force to be reckoned with. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of cruel people out there, bullies, people who just want to do harm to other people. They want to blame other people for all of their shortcomings. They want to do harm to other people. And the good people who have a tendency to be perhaps a little more peaceful and calm need to come together and be just as strong or even stronger than those people who really, out of their own misguided choices in life, choose to do harm to other people.
So what form is this taking now with this why kind of name to it? How do you see this? I guess what's your vision of this, the tangible kind of version?
The tangible version is to create a community and perhaps even a movement of people who have come together and made a pledge to themselves, just a pledge to themselves that they're going to work to be the best person that they can be. We encourage them to sign a document, a pledge document, that says that the best of their ability, they're going to embrace what we call the five good power guiding principles, which are easily memorized with the expression, I rock. And the I stands for integrity, the R stands for respect, the O for optimism, the C for courage, and the K for kindness. So we believe that if people would wake up every morning and renew the pledge to themselves that as best as they possibly can, they're going to live in integrity, they're going to respect the choices and the rights of other people, they're going to be optimistic and believe in a brighter tomorrow, they're going to be courageous and face the challenges of the day. And they're going to be kind to everyone that they meet, all the animals that they meet, and most especially be kind to themselves so they can rock each day in integrity.
I like that. And I want to make sure that we call out and people pick up on the subtle and very intentional language of making a pledge to yourself. Yes, sign it. Yes, it is I rock. It's these five principles, but it's to yourself. It's not show up and, Paul says, "Did you do these today?" No, it's to yourself and making that agreement with yourself. And that's a subtle distinction and so very important already with how this is maybe a little bit different than something else going on out there.
I love it. And I mentioned the focused mind community earlier. One of the guiding principles of that community was simply that we all make choices every day, a lot of them subconsciously, to shift our energy and lift our spirits. When we take a drink of water, we have a breath, we take a little time out from something, consciously and subconsciously choosing to shift our energy. Well, when we practice consciously shifting our energy, when we practice consciously making good choices, we become stronger people. We become more capable people. We build the skill, we build the habit of being people of greater wisdom, of greater love and light, of greater peacefulness and calmness. And we're a blessing not only to the world, but a blessing to ourselves.
Well, and I think an important part of this too is the acknowledgement that we even can, that I don't think the majority of folks out there let that in. I think if you haven't gone down this road at all of personal development and, you know, that self-empowerment aspect, that you operate by default and you think that's all you can do. Oh, yeah, I've been that way since I was 5. That's just who I am. And this is kind of step one to let that in for folks that you can change who you are and how you would like. That's why we're human. That's a very, very human thing that we can do. And let's embrace that first. I think that's step one, right?
It is step one. And when as parents we teach our kids that first step, which is, don't throw things, don't yell at us, don't hit your sister, was one I got a lot. We teach them that first level of emotional control. Just control your temper. And we are teaching them the power that they have to shift the focus of their attention, to grab hold of these subconscious motivations, desire to do harm to other people or to do harm to ourselves, and we catch them, but we don't teach them that they can continue to use that exact same power to shift from misery and incredible stress into just, slightly uncomfortable. And then they can choose again and move from being comfortable to being excellent, and choose again from being excellent to awesome, and choose again from being awesome to divine. We can continue to make that exact same choice. I'd oftentimes talk about we can push the up button on the elevator whenever and wherever we want. We don't have to wait for it to get to the basement to push the up button whenever we want. And the biggest challenge is not in the shifting and lifting. This is important. The biggest challenge is not in the shifting and the lifting. The biggest challenge is remembering that we can. The biggest challenge is remembering that we can. And the way that we meet that challenge is by building the skill, by building the habit of doing it over and over and over and over again, and teaching ourselves subconsciously that we don't have to settle for less, that we can make a choice, that we can shift our attention, and we can let go of that tension and stress. We can embrace greater health and happiness, and we can live life in a much more comfortable, wonderful way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And one of those shifts that you mentioned, we talk to our kids about, and and I don't think we do a good enough job. And again, this applies all the way up the chain, like you talked about through our lives. It's not about, so we may say, don't yell at me, don't hit your sister. But what's implied, and if you don't follow through that, what's implied is don't be angry, don't feel that feeling you're feeling. And that's meshed in with don't hit your sister, right? Instead of, I know you're upset, you can feel that way, you should feel, yes, here, and then to go on, just like you said, walking them through. Now, let's sit back, let's talk through it and work your way up through that emotion. And I think so much of this stuff is just coming to light as a world, to even have these conversations that, to me, yes, you build up certain skills through going through hardship and all of this stuff. And we're always still going to have hardship. But if, as the world overall embraces, teaches, loves more and more and more, I just think that's a positive for the globe, for the planet, and who knows where humanity can get to with that.
Boy, I have high hopes, and I think that we really desperately need it because, the human race, I think, has a big challenge ahead of it that it's not addressing very well. And that challenge is that our technology, the pace of the evolution of technology is far exceeding the pace of the evolution of our emotional intelligence. Our ability to hurt each other, with technology is rapidly, rapidly expanding. It started with bombs and firearms, and then, tanks and the atom bomb, and now we're into biological warfare and all kinds of, nasty things that people can do to each other. We really need to focus on our emotional intelligence. We really need to focus on controlling tribal conflict in order for this world to be a better place for your children and my children.
Yeah, I agree. So what's making this movement? How do you see it different than other things that are out there? You've got, a specific good power challenge coming. You and I've talked about a little bit. What are some of those differentiators to this than anything you've done before or that you see out there right now?
I think the biggest differentiator is that we focus on three different modes or methods of empowerment. A lot of empowerment programs out there only focus on one, maybe two, but rarely do we see them focus on three. So those three different aspects of empowerment are vitality, capability, and mindset. As we increase our vitality, as we maintain and increase our physical and mental vitality, we're able to do more. We can be more productive. We can be stronger. And when we're stronger, we're less tempted to be angry and upset. We feel a little bit more safer and confident. But physical vitality and mental vitality is a huge part of empowerment. Second one is capabilities. As we learn more, as we're able to do more, as we're learning to leverage artificial intelligence, as we're learning to, touch type on a keyboard, as we're learning to interact with the internet in all of its different ways, we can do more. We can be more productive people. And of course, as we begin to control our state of being through the focus of our attention, we control our mindset, then we can step into great confidence and great contribution and great courage, etc. So we encourage everybody to have a three-part personal empowerment plan where every day you're working on your vitality, you're working on increasing your capability to add value to other people, and you're building the skill, building the habit of managing the focus of your attention and managing your mindset so that you can perform at the highest levels.
And what form is this taking right now? Like, again, back to the tangible, you talked about the community. Is there kind of a structure to this right now?
The loose structure is that we haven't quite launched yet. We're going to launch in the next few weeks or so. There's two different sections to the Good Power Project. One of them is the Good Power Community, which is good people, all over the world, and the only thing that you have to do to join the community is to pledge to yourself to be the best person you can and as best you possibly can embrace those five good power guiding principles. The other part of it is the Good Power Alliance. The Good Power Alliance are professional service providers who can provide services, who can help other people in the Good Power community along their way. Um, and the Good Power Alliance members also have to be members of the Good Power community. So just like you and me, they're working at being the best person that they can be, and they have to offer the Good Power guarantee to members of the Good Power community. So we want to encourage people to try out the services of other people. So part of the Good Power guarantee is if you're purchasing an information product, you have a 30-day guarantee on that. If for any reason you want your money back after 30 days, that you didn't get the value out of it that you thought that you were going to get, that you agreed to pay, then you get your money back. And for service providers, we strongly recommend that they offer a guarantee of up to 2 different sessions. So if you engage with me with a coaching practice and we get 2 sessions into it and you decide that it's just not working, then you get your money back for those 2 sessions. If you go to a workshop or a conference halfway through it, if it's not working for you, you can get your money back. Because we want to give people a guarantee, an insurance policy, if you will, that if things don't work out whenever I'm doing business with somebody in the Good Power Alliance, that I'll get my money back, they'll wish me well, and I'll be able to use those funds to try to boost myself in some other way with some other person.
I like that too. And that's unique, number one, within this community to have that. But also what I love is this is some more of Paul's left brain, right brain coming together too, that it's so real, which is, yes, we're people in here, some of us entrepreneurs, some of us doing business with people we're close to. That's the part of life that we do. And instead of, don't offer your services in this group. Don't talk about this. And we can't talk about business in our group. We can't do. I walk into those things so much. This is about networking and building a community, but don't sell. Don't talk. Like, don't. And it's just baffling to me. So I love that right up front. It's baked in. Yeah, of course we're gonna do this. And we think we're going to do it better than anyone else doing it with these kind of guarantees.
Yeah, I love that because one of the great principles of sales is understanding the value that you bring to other people. And that value is always on helping them accomplish something they want to accomplish, help them achieve success in whatever way that that might mean to them, help them develop a marketing program, help them develop and proliferate a great podcast, help them with graphics, help them with marketing, help them in whatever ways you can. I help people, every day with strategic planning and with being a fractional CFO, et cetera. And I bring value to other people by helping them achieve the success that they want to achieve. And if I'm not bringing that value to them, then I want them to speak up because I want to be in balance with them. I want it to be a fair exchange of value. Actually, I want it to be, I want them to get far more value than they thought that they were getting from engaging with my services or buying my information products. I want them to feel like, heck, I got a great deal. I paid $5 and I got $50 worth of benefit from that. So as service providers, we bring value to other people. If we're not bringing that value to other people, the kind thing to do, the thing that is respectful, the thing that helps us stay in integrity is to say, hey, my apologies. We tried our best. If it didn't work for you, here's your money back. Go forth and find somebody else who can help you achieve your dreams.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to dig into how people can reach out and stuff. Walk me through though first. You, I know when we've talked in the past, we've got the 5 principles of the IROC in that. There's another structure in there. I think I'm forgetting that maybe it's some 6 pillars that you mentioned in there that are structured in this. Remind me of what those are.
So we've created our own Good Power Challenge, and that Good Power Challenge takes people through the 6 pillars of empowerment to help them create their personal empowerment plan, encompassing those 3 modes of vitality, capability, and mindset. So those 6 pillars are, the first one is the pillar of principles and purpose. We want people to embrace their own principles, expand upon the good power guiding principles if you want, and also to embrace your purpose in life, your meaning in life. Mine is pretty simple, which is to be in my highest vibration as often as possible and help others do the same. Other people may be called in some way. If you're called in some other way and you have a purpose in life, then by all means embrace that one. If you don't, you're welcome to adopt mine and modify it however you want. The second pillar is the pillar of vitality and a positive mindset, where we help people develop their own vitality, maintenance, and improvement plan. And we help them find ways to consciously step into positive energy, optimism every single day. The third pillar is the power of clarity and certainty, where we help people understand what it is that they are certain is true. Because whenever we can step into our certainty, there's incredible power in stepping into that. When we can get very, very clear on who we are, where we're going, why we're doing that, we can step into incredible power when we do that. The fourth one is the pillar of capabilities and value, understanding what your capabilities are, the way that you bring value to other people, and developing a plan to increase your capabilities so that you can increase the value that you bring to other people. The fifth one is the pillar of courage and success, of finding ways to step into your courage, of remembering the ways in which you've been courageous in the past, and really becoming grounded on the successes that you have had and the successes that you're going for. And the last pillar is the pillar of plans and progress, where we help people create their personal empowerment plan, and we help people make progress by taking action to actually do the things that they've chosen to do to increase their vitality, to increase their capability, and to improve their mindset so they can be the strongest, most confident, most capable person that they can be.
I love that. And that answers a question for me too. And I think for a lot of people who hear about this, that if, and it sounds like it's built for, hey, I'm down with the principles. I don't have a clue what my calling is or what I would like to do in this world or what my capabilities are, or, any one of those individually. And I love that idea of this too, of we all want that. Most of us want that. I think at some level, we want to figure that stuff out. And I've felt that certainly of just being a little, I like the idea of all of it, but I don't have anything to grab onto like you have yours, right? And I love that you're going to walk people through developing their own, along with the fact that it isn't, here's the structure, here's what you believe, here's what you need to do day in and out. No, we're going to give you some guidance, and we're going to cultivate that, because that goodness, that power is yours. It's inside. Let's get it out.
I think this may sound a little crazy, but I want everybody to be happier than I am. I want everybody to be more loving and kind than I am. I want everybody to be more courageous and more confident than I am. I want to help people be a better person than I am. Especially, and as they grow, as they age, if they keep after it, they can be. They can be. You can be. And that's what I want for everybody. And I think that's what really, really good people want. They want people to find their own way. They want to help them on that journey as much as possible. They are delighted if they turn out being more successful, more competent, happier, more fulfilled in some way, because believe me, my cup is very, very, very full. I only experience a few moments of tension and doubt and concern and being bothered, every once in a while. Most of my days are spent feeling very healthy, spent being very happy, helping other people. And I want everybody to experience that. And I am determined to do anything and everything I can to help those good people become stronger, more confident, and more capable people, so they can enjoy a better life and they can do more good in the world.
Well, I believe in you. I think you've got it. I
Thanks,
think if
man.
there's someone to do it, it's you. We've had enough conversations and enough interactions in each other's world that, yeah, I believe in it.
Well, thank you. Jason, I believe in you too. That's why we're having this conversation today. You bring out the best in me, and I know that you bring out the best in other people as well. So I'm honored to have, discovered you on this journey, on this path, and support you and however I can, and honored for you to become a founding member of the Good Power of Alliance, so you can help people in the ways that you help other people. So if any of you are looking for somebody to help you with your podcast or in any of the ways that Jason can, you got a really good choice there.
I appreciate that. So how do people are like, yes, me, I'm in. What do they do? Where do they go?
Goodpowerproject.com. And there's a lot of different URLs I have, but that's the best one, goodpowerproject.com. Just go there. You can hear a lot of the conversation that we had today. You can see a lot of information on it. You'll join up, sign up, become a member of the Good Power community, take the pledge to yourself to live every day as best you can according to the 5 guiding principles of I Rock, so that you can rock with integrity every single day. And we'll keep you posted and informed as this really begins to launch over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks, Jason. I really appreciate you. Blessings, my friend.
Absolutely.
See you.
And to you. And we'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining us on Strategy in Action. Remember, true industry leaders don't chase opportunities, they attract them. Want to build your own market gravity? Visit MediaLeadsCo.com. See you next time.